Welcome to Signal Paths. I'm Doug.
And I'm Ryan.
And today we're going to be talking about late night listening and what kind of things that we can do to help that. It was a question that was forwarded from Ben at ABX Audiophile Discord group that I'm a part of.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, he asked, he's a low volume listener and he really wants to discover ways to make his low volume late night listening better.
Very nice. Well, let me address it from the home theater side first, and then we can talk about how that's different from what's going on with the home audio realm. So in AV receivers, a lot of AV receivers will have a late night setting of some sort. And what that does, it's actually a compression algorithm. So you take your dynamic peaks that are way up here and your lows that are way down here, and you compress that into a smaller space. That way, when you're listening at a kind of a neutral level, that's nice, you don't have to worry about it being too soft so that you can't hear the dialogue. But it's not going to be so loud that it's shaking the house at night with your subwoofers. And it's just a more pleasant experience for those that are sleeping versus those that are viewing the movie. And it's actually still a very enjoyable way to watch the movie. You'll still have that bass impact that you want, just not to the level that you were going to get it otherwise. But with high-end audio, and we're talking about integrated amplifiers or whatever, that's going to be a little bit different. That's not going to be a compression algorithm.
Yeah, with late night listening, one of the things that I have found over my years of doing this is that a lot of times speaker sensitivity is a big one on that. More sensitive speakers seem to do better at low volumes, just simply because it takes less power to get them going. Low sensitivity speakers generally need to be woke up a little bit, and sometimes cranking the volume is the way you do that. Now, unlike this Luxman 507 here, it's got a loudness control, which has been around since probably the 70s. And what it is, it's basically a contour control. Because as your ears change as volume decreases, your sensitivity of your ears. So what starts out as flat at maybe a reference 85 decibels, as you go down to like 70, 65, 60, 50, the lows and the highs start dropping out, and you end up with almost like a horseshoe. So what happens is when you try to late night listen at like 65, 60 decibels, almost just above room ambient noise, you're going to get a lot of mid-range, but you're not going to get the feel that you would normally get at 80, 85 decibels. So what they do, and what's been done for years, is a loudness control, which is basically a contour control that boosts the bass and boosts the treble to bring that back up to approximately flat that you had at the 80 decibels.
Very good.
And Luxman's one of the few that do it. There's a few other companies that do it, but Luxman's really stood by the loudness control.
And really, I mean, you've got a modern integrated amp here that's kind of throwing back to the vintage design.
In a way it does, because it does have the loudness control. You have your bass and treble, you have your speaker AB switch, and your balance control. A lot of those things on modern equipment don't even... Now, there's a way you can bypass this stuff. If you want to go with a simpler signal path for the utmost purity, you can bypass all this. But for the people that want a late night listen, the loudness control is a good one. The other one is see where your bass and treble controls lie. If they're low enough and high enough in frequency where they adjust, you can actually use these controls to do the same thing.
Very nice.
Or pretty close, approximate the same thing.
And so, and you had talked about you have the line straight in here, which bypasses all that. And so, but if you have that on, you can't turn on the loudness control.
So it's kind of like for late night people, you kind of sometimes have to make a few changes and live with a few things, but you can do it.
So when we talk about a higher sensitive loudspeaker, like where would you say the cutoff begins? Like what sensitivity is too low to be considered a late night speaker?
A late night speaker, in my opinion, anything probably above 90 decibels, 91 decibels is probably work well. Obviously, the higher you get toward 100, the more reactive that speaker is going to be with less power and less volume. But Once you get under 90, things start taking a different course as far as the power needs, and a lot of those speakers, they just take more juice to wake up.
Sure.
And a lot of times take more volume in doing that.
Sure.
So they are the speakers that are susceptible to the drops at lower volume. They just don't, you know, because like each driver in the speaker is a certain sensitivity. It takes a certain amount of power to get it going.
Right.
So at lower volumes, you just don't have the push to get that driver to do what it's created to do.
Exactly. And once again, that's for listening on an audiophile system.
Yeah, that's 2-channel, low volume, late night listening.
But there is that, when you're talking about home theater, folks, you can get a pretty standard, nice loudspeaker that's maybe even 86, 87 dB, but with that compression algorithm, it's still going to work.
Right.
But it's a different approach to it.
It's a totally different world, you know, home theater and home. And that's, you know, a lot of the 2-channel guys are purists. They don't want.
Right.
We fight against compression. We don't want to add compression.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's just two different worlds, two different philosophies. But I like that Luxman keeps that control. And I wish more products had that for people that like Ben that listens at late night, because that one little contour control can mean a lot when it comes to late night, low volume listening. Because it's our ears. Yeah. Everybody thinks that, you know, this and that. Our ears aren't perfect.
Yep.
They perceive sound differently at different decibel levels. And we have to live with it and contour for it. You know, make adjustments for that. And that's the best way to do it.
Very good. All right. Well, that's really helpful information. Ben, thank you for submitting your question. We're excited about that. That's really cool. And if you are viewing and you have any questions, we would love you to submit those to our YouTube channel, and we will try to answer those in future episodes.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I'm still Ryan. He's still Doug. And this is
Signal Pass.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.